First of all, it's quite interesting, and I'm thankful to CII for giving me the opportunity to be here. What I decided to talk about, since we are talking about collaboration, and we have recently signed an MOU with the Bravatnik Center for Interdisciplinary Center for Cybersecurity. So I would talk about a little bit very quickly about our center and why we are actually collaborating with the center there and why we are keen to do that. And it all started when we with CII we actually visited the Cybersecurity Week that is organized every year in June by the ICSR, the Interdisciplinary Cybersecurity Center there in Tel Aviv. And it was very, very impressive, as it was mentioned earlier, that they have about 250 researchers working in cybersecurity, and many of them are actually not necessarily in core computer science. You know, it's a interdisciplinarity and the crosstalk that basically makes them very successful. So, 1.5 years ago, I moved from my previous job to India, and then I came to IIT Kanpur, and right then, coincidentally, actually, I was invited by CII to go to this thing, to this Cybersecurity Week, and so we actually could see exactly what's going on in Israel, and it's indeed very, very impressive. So what we have done, we have started this National Interdisciplinary Center for Cybersecurity and Cyber Defense of Critical Infrastructure, because we thought that's in a big need for India. So one thing that we did is that we said, so we had a lot of people in India actually work in cryptography and cryptology. As was mentioned earlier, R.C. Bose Center in ISI, Calcutta is actually a very good place for cryptology. Then we have cryptographers in IIT Kanpur, we have cryptographers in IIT Bombay as well as IIT Madras. And we have very good group in cyber, side channel analysis and side channel attacks in IIT Kharagpur and now in Madras. And so we said, okay, but we have a lot of people who work in areas that can be actually brought together, who are not necessarily cybersecurity people. For example, people who work in program analysis, people who work in compiler technology and static analysis, people who work in so we said, okay, so we have people who work in machine learning. We have very good people in machine learning, people working in deep learning, people working in stream learning. We have people in cryptography. We have people working in network security. So why not? We have people in formal methods. So why not bring them all together and actually work with make them interested in working in this area of cybersecurity and actually create this environment. And we actually went ahead and talked to various. Actually, this is a typo. It should have been IIIT Delhi. But we talked to various players in cybersecurity in India, and then we kind of got them to support us. And then turns out that because of this, the whole great impression we had from Tel Aviv University, and because of the interest from their part as well, Gary Sussman was one of the guys who actually pushed it, and so we have now an MOU with them, and as well as we have some other MOUs like with New York University, and currently working on an MOU with the ISI in University of Southern California. We have a couple of industry MOUs, and we are talking to FICCI about one of those. So that's and this is our team. So I will not go through this motivation, because obviously we are here because of all these various things that are happening to us from various corners, and we have real cases of our government websites being hacked and so on. But you guys probably know more about this. We read this in the news that last year there was a hacking of a surrogate Israeli grid that didn't really was connected to the real grid, but This is from the news, so I don't know whether it is true or not. But this is actually quite a bit in the news, the Ukraine blackout last year by the hackers, and then various other incidents that basically German steel plant being hacked and their system getting damaged. Turkish banks were under cyber attack last year, and they could not carry out business. And then there has been a lot of cases. Now Stuxnet, obviously all of us know about, but there are many cases. Some of are very well advertised and some are not. So there has been at least 8-fold increase in the number of cyber attacks on critical infrastructure. And these happens quite a bit because of the software vulnerability, because of malware infection, and because of inside attack and so on. And one more thing that I want to emphasize here is that since we are talking a lot about this Paytm and all that business these days, the mobile Trojans have increased, almost exponentially in the last few years. So, and then a lot of these things happen due to social engineering, malware, and cyber espionage and various other exploitation of zero-day vulnerabilities and so on. And one of the biggest issue that we found is that, and this is from ASSOCHAM, which is does a survey, and about 17% inside attack, like in the disgruntled employee or not so cognizant employee because of lack of awareness. And there is also, if you consider the collaboration between inside and outside in India, it's about 56%. So insider attack, and when I go and talk to various companies, I often hear, oh, there is no inside attack, our employees are very good. I mean, that's not the right attitude, but that's a different story. So now I think ran out of battery, so I will just use. Now I keep hearing this comment, that there are not enough sophisticated criminals in India, so we don't have to worry about it. And I just want to say that there is a huge marketplace from where you can buy exploits, and you don't have to know much about cybersecurity to do this. This happens in the darknet, and the costs are also not very high. So people have actually looked into the darknet and found out these things happening. And people who are attacking our systems are mostly, insiders is a big one. Foreign governments and terrorist and criminal groups are big ones. So the question is, what can I do as academia, and how we can collaborate with places where there has been really good work and really high development in cybersecurity. So what we have done is, so our goal is to become one of the major center in cybersecurity of critical infrastructure in India. And to do that, we are actually building a cyber, so first of all, we decided that we will focus on a few problems and bring all these different interdisciplinary researchers together into this problem. So the 3 problems that we first decided to tackle. One is to create distributed systems which are safe from inside attackers. How can you do safe in the sense that it should be extremely attributable, so that nobody can go scot-free by being an insider attacker. And second problem that we want to work on is we want to create an specific industry-specific malware repository and analysis capabilities. Because it turns out that 90% of the where is that thing? 90% of the malware seems to be organization specific. It's not even specific to a country, but it's organization specific. So we need to build capability so that we can actually customize them for specific organizations and so on. And then third thing we are going to do is India is actually investing large in PMUs or phasor measurement units that go into the power grid. And so we want to actually use that data, as Sarita was saying, that we have data. Now what do you do with the data? How do you actually determine that there is an ongoing incursion going on, and so on and so forth. So I don't think that I should take any more time to actually explain all this. So we have certain things that we are doing, and so but one thing that we decided, this matrix basically is our center's main matrix. Basically, we divided the critical infrastructure into layers, and it all coming all the way from the physical dynamics of the system, like power system dynamics, all the way to the cloud layer, because many of these services are now going into cloud, especially energy management system, enterprise resource planning, and so on. And then we divided, the columns are actually the various areas of research capabilities that we have. And in some cases, we can actually work with other universities, such as Tel Aviv University, to extend our capabilities. So we have capabilities in these certain areas, but it can always be extended. And I will not go into all this. I want to go into the last slide. So yeah, so this is the SCADA test bed that we have procured so far. Now, in procuring something in India takes about almost a year because of the tendering and whatnot. And then this is a very small scale SCADA system with an electrical distribution as a field, and there is Schneider SCADA. But we are going to get a large test bed, about $1.5 million worth test bed, where we can actually do hardware in the loop and software in the loop cybersecurity experiments, and also allow other companies to actually plug in their devices and do things. And I saw that Tel Aviv, the center at Tel Aviv University has a lot of work going on in SCADA cybersecurity, and so I think that's a big place where we need to collaborate and understand each other's technology. And last thing I want to mention is that awareness is a big problem in India. So last year, so our main work with New York University has been to actually launch this international competition. So they actually have been doing this competition for last 14 years. So all US participants used to go to New York University once a year to participate in Capture the Flag and Embedded Security Challenge and Security Research Challenge and so on. This year we brought this competition to India through IIT Kanpur, so it happened in November this year. And then Abu Dhabi also participated for Middle Eastern participants. So this has been quite successful in our as far as first attempt goes. But this actually brought in a lot of different university students to actually participate in this global competition. And actually we are hoping that next year, since a lot of universities are now aware of this kind of challenge, and also they are graded in the global ranking, so that makes them happy about this. So in other words, okay, this is our planned smart grid, and so we have a couple of partners in India itself, various institutes, and then our foreign collaborators right now are obviously ICRC and NYU. So I think that without this worldwide effort to collaborate, especially we are very impressed by the way the Israel cybersecurity industry as well as the technology has developed. The other thing we want to do is we were very impressed by the ecosystem of small industries around the center that you have in Tel Aviv, and we want to create that around our institutes, and we probably need collaboration on that. How do you go about doing that? So that's basically all I have to say.